This article has been updated with a statement from Yemen's coalition government. Recently, the story of Yemen has been told in statistics. A brutal campaign of airstrikes by Saudi Arabia has killed 10,000. 8 million people, 1/3 of the population, are teetering on the brink of famine. 80% of the country lacks access to food, fuel, clean water, and health care. Even so, this number stands out. The International Committee of the Red Cross reported today that 1 million Yemenis have contracted cholera in the past 18 months. More than 2,000 have died, according to the United Nations. It's the largest cholera outbreak in world history. Yemen cholera update. We can confirm that the country has now reached 1 million suspected cases of cholera. This is devastating. ICRC, at ICRC, December 21, 2017. In a statement, Yemen's coalition government disputed the number, suggesting that it was exaggerated, and noting that it is nearly impossible to accurately determine whether the suspected cases are cholera or simple diarrhea. Let that sink in for a second. 1 million people have contracted a disease that we've understood how to treat and contain since John Snow sat by a water pump in 1854. For cholera to spread this fast, everything has to go wrong. In Yemen, everything has. Cholera is a waterborne illness, spread when food or water comes in contact with waste from someone who already has the disease. It's easy to protect against. You're safe as long as you've got clean water to drink and a way to disinfect food, and it's easily treatable. All that's required is fluids. As David Sack of Johns Hopkins University put it to NPR, a patient with cholera should never die. Yemen is on the brink of a horrible famine. Here's how things got so bad. Yemen is the poorest country in the Middle East and has one of the least hospitable climates. Much of the country is desert, and climate change has made it even harder to grow crops and access fresh water. Experts predict that Sana'a will be the first capital city to run out of water. Yemenis import more than 80% of their food, fuel, and water. Even so, before fighting broke out in 2015, there was no cholera in Yemen. The country's civil war changed all that. The conflict started as slow-motion coup. Houthi rebels took over parts of the country, the government fought back. Saudi Arabia stepped in, offering assistance in the form of airstrikes that have killed thousands of civilians. Today, the country has no functioning national government. Parts of the country are in the hands of the Islamic State militant group or other local actors. As Chatham House put it in a recent report, Yemen resembles less a divided country than a collection of mini-states engaged in a complex intra-regional conflict. Saudi Arabia lifted its blockade of Yemen. It's not nearly enough to prevent a famine. That conflict has made it much harder to move goods into the country. Saudi Arabia has enacted a blockade of water, air, and land ports. Much of what does make it into the country is smuggled over various checkpoints, and Yemenis are forced to pay the price, an especially steep obstacle considering much of the population hasn't received a salary in months. Cholera has spread in the Houthi areas because of the blockade and bombing by the Saudi coalition, which has destroyed the public water and sanitation systems, explained Daniel Verisco, a postdoctoral scholar at the Austrian Academy of Sciences.